Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Theresa and I'm starting a new mini series today called Writing in Our Journal, and the focus will be on devotional prompts. So think about something like Junk Journal January and or Defember, and a lot of that journaling is based off of prompts. Typically, those prompts are used to create ephemera type things. So, like for this one, the prompts might be postage stamp. And so, use some postage stamps and build everything around that one prompt. I have been wanting to do a series or videos on writing in our journals. Number one, for me, because I want to write in my journals more. And number two, for you, because I want to brainstorm with you to come up with ideas for writing in your journal in case that's something that you're interested in. First of all, I decided which journal I wanted to use. I believe I used this journal for, I want to say I used it for the, for Susan's Junk Journal Madness, I think is what it's called. And I think it was the grungy, and I did vintage grungy. And I noticed that my butterfly is coming up here, so I'm going to do a little quick repair. Hello, in case I didn't say hello, and welcome. Let me know where you're watching from. This is a live stream, so you can chat at me if you're interested in doing so. Right, this was a fun little journal that I did that is an accordion journal, which means that it will flip this way and then it will flip this way. So not only did I layer pages together, but I also sewed in a signature on each side. Just a small signature. So that was that side, and then on this side the signature is right here. This is just a little signature. Has a little flip. Okay, so I looked at this last night and I thought, yep, this would work for the purpose of this mini series. My last mini series was crafting around the house, and I do have a playlist for that. I will build a playlist for this mini series, and I'm not necessarily going to call it a mini series maybe like I did last time, just because I don't want that many words in the title. I couldn't come up with a hashtag for this, so I want to make sure that my title is very clear and concise in case anybody wants to search for that type of videos. So I came up with my journal, and I came up with my prompts. And I have some notes here that are to remind me that this is going to be a Sunday series. The hook is writing in our journal, and the subtopic is devotional prompt. I wanted it to have the word devotional, and I came up with that idea last night while I was in Beth Schuler's live chat, and she was just chatting along, and she was talking about how she used to do devotionals in her live streams, and I told her that was a great idea, and how I had been thinking about doing a series on writing in our journals. And I don't know if I put the two together right at that moment or if I did it this morning or what, but Beth is at Beth Schuler, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly, and she's on YouTube. Her last name is spelled Schuler. Excuse me. So I just wrote down prompts, devotional words of actions, topics, and questions to inspire you. So I subcategorized the prompts to words of action. So in that case, that made me think of doing something more like this. And maybe I wouldn't journal. I'd just do something like this. Then topics. So the topics are leading, I am grateful for, and then I would finish that sentence. And questions, all to inspire us. So questions might be, which acts of service gave you the greatest feeling of faith? And from watching Beth's YouTube chat last night, I would guess that her puppet ministry would have been one of the service, i.e. ministry, that she and her husband did in the past that gave her a great feeling of faith. Faith in Jesus to keep her going, because sometimes these things aren't easy to get accomplished. There's planning, there's like some of us need to be brave about getting out in front of a bunch of people, whatever. I'm just taking wild guesses there. Words of action, topics, and questions that will inspire us to write in our journal. So then I put, there's ways that you can do this. One is journal from the hip by reading the prompt, possibly writing the prompt in your journal, and then just free write any thoughts that come to you as a result of reading the prompt. Research it out. You can do that by Googling, using a concordance, or using your Bible. There may be other ways that you might research it out. Bible study with friends. That can turn into a devotional meeting while taking notes in your journal. So we've got a wonderful world out there where we can go to a Bible study in person, maybe have some friends. And you might say, hey, I'm doing this new mini-series with junk journaling, and it revolves around devotional prompts. Would you like to meet me at Starbucks on Sundays, or maybe Monday nights or something? I work, so I would say Monday nights, but something like that. And then you can take the prompt to your friends, and you all can, journal, you can craft, whatever it is that you're all of like mind about. So some of the words of action are gratitude, struggles, God faithfulness, personal growth, scripture, prayer, daily reflection, forgiveness, faith, kingdom of God. So then, gratitude, what are you most thankful for today? Now, when I look at that one, I think to myself, okay, let's open up the journal. This is the first page, yes. I have a journaling card in here, and I might look at this and say, oh, gee whiz, I don't know that this is big enough for me. We got to be real careful at this stage to make sure that we don't go into a procrastination mode, into a hang-up to move forward. I've almost already forgotten what my journal prompt is. Yes, it's sitting over there. Maybe I don't want to use my sheet right yet. I kind of had thought to use that sheet, but it's also notes. So I could use this sheet for my notes, I guess. But, yeah, I guess I could do that. Let's just do that, because I have to be real careful to not have a hang up. I mean, because when I was putting this sheet together, I got stuck like 3 different times because I thought, oh, how do I put a background in a Word document and then be able to put text over it? And I Googled it and I watched a YouTube, and oh my gosh, I went off on a rabbit trail. I don't want to go off on a rabbit trail is what I'm saying. So I could take my sheet like this, and unfortunately I cannot share this sheet because I printed off on a image that belongs to a digital creator. I think this one belongs to Gez, from her nurse's kit. And then I used ideas from the internet. And it's just, I wouldn't feel comfortable. This is all my writing right here, but some of this is stuff that I pulled from the internet. So I don't know that I'd feel comfortable with putting this in my Ko-fi. Otherwise, I'd be happy to share it with you. Well, I can't because Jez's image is in the back. I wouldn't want to sell it. I'd want to share it, but I couldn't even do that without her permission. So I'll just go ahead and I'll cut that out. And I want to say that when I read this, other ideas came to mind too. I'm going to use this part in my journal as well. See if I can get that small enough. Where's my journal? So I kind of want to have something like this in here to let me know what it is I'm doing. I don't know where I could put that. Ideally, I'd be able to put it across the top here. And I can, actually. And then it'll just fold. Yes, I can do that. I like that. Okay. I'm just going to leave all that because I like that design. Okay. Actually, I'm going to take a little bit of it off. So if you're new to my channel, a little bit about me. I'm a full-time RVer, currently in Washington. My hometown, not hometown, my base area is Idaho. And then my winter area is, as a snowbird, is Arizona. And then sometimes we travel to different areas to see family. Last October we went all over the place. We went back east, visited family in Ohio, family in Texas. My husband has family here in Washington. I have to say I'm not a big fan of Washington. Another thing you'll learn about my channel is that there's much talk about Jesus, and I'm also pretty much politically incorrect if you don't have the same conservative ideas that I do. So I don't share that kind of stuff for work because people are paying me to do a job, but I'm fine to share how I feel about these sort of things on my YouTube channel because it's my personal channel. It belongs to me. It's basically all about me and what I enjoy doing. And then anybody who would like is welcome to come along for the ride. So yeah, there's that disclaimer. Now, I don't need this anymore because I can use scissors to trim this down. I'm going to take my prompt. I do not need my mouse. Where am I going to put it? I have a messy area. I don't usually have a messy area, but I do have a messy area today to the point where yesterday I had 2 craft-a-lanches. My husband was like, "What is going on in there?" I said, "They're craft-a-lanches." It's what happens when you have too much stuff all over the place. So then back to that tag. Is this tag going to be big enough? Let's see. I'm going to move that camera out a little bit. Is this tag going to be big enough for what I want? I don't need the words of action. I might decide I want it though. Jiminy Christmas. Talk about undecided. Yeah, we were in Port Orchard yesterday, and I just don't care for all the crowdedness. Hi, Theresa Church, welcome. And I just don't feel comfortable being so, I don't know, I'm not going to get into that, I guess, but it's a very crowded place. I love the trees, but I don't like the trees because they are so, they make you feel so closed in. Sometimes it's, depending on what area you're in, it's hard to see the sky. So I could put this in front, and I do like that idea. So I think I'm going to tear this a little bit more. And this is my trial run, guys, so if you have any ideas, please feel free to volunteer your ideas. And with the hope that we can all inspire each other. And if you like in the chat, just tell me what you're doing today. We don't have to talk about writing in our journal with a focus on devotional prompts. Even though I said my channel's all about me, it doesn't always have to be all about me. Okay, see if I'm a little shaky today. It's one of those days when I wish I had 2 weight gloves instead of just 1. And I will probably resolve that issue when I get back to Idaho. here's a fun fact about our travels for the last month and a half, is when we got to the last RV park, because we went from Arizona to Idaho, and then to Washington, and then we're going to go back to Idaho. So when we got to the last RV park in Idaho, found out that we can't get mail there. So being full-time RVers, we rely, first of all, we've got a post office box in Boise, but we rely on getting our mail at the RV park, and when you don't have the ability to get mail at your spot, then I can't even have the post office forward our mail. I'm going to save this little piece, words of action, over here until I decide what to do with it. So on the front of my card is going to be my prompt, gratitude. What are you most thankful for today? So I could put, I'm thankful today for blah, blah, blah. But you know, I'm not, hang on, I can't talk and do this at the same time. Yes, I can. I'm not inclined to say, I'm thankful for, and then start writing. I'm looking for a pen. Let's see. Okay. So I might write the date. I might put the lid on my ink pad so that it doesn't dry out. And today is June 22. Okay, so what are you most thankful for today? And that might evolve to, let's say, 3 things that I am thankful for. And so 1 would definitely be my husband. 2 would be my grandchildren. 3 would be my faith. Oops. Okay. And they're not always necessarily in that order. Oh, that is cool that you did that, Theresa. Theresa listed life, salvation, family, friends, and home. Okay, so Theresa, for you folks that are watching this video in the replay, Theresa just listed in the chat life, salvation, family, friends, and home. So see how easy these Sunday videos, Lord willing, I will continue to do them. And oh, Lisa, which I feel like you're new here, Lisa, just popped in, and because she put her whole comment in one sentence, I can put hers. That she's sitting here with one of her cats watching me craft as my projects are calling me. That's funny. She says was scrolling and stopped here. Thanks for stopping, Lisa. And so then Theresa says her list is never ending. I get that. So each day, you know, you could start your journal with 3 things, or let's see, Theresa had 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe Theresa can't do 3 things. Maybe she's always got to do 5 things. Like junk journaling, there are no rules, because we're junk journaling actually, with a focus on devotional. So then I'm going to add friends, and I'm going to add my work, because it's, thanks be to God, that's what keeps us going. We're able to pay our bills and be responsible stewards of what we do in life, pretty much. So, okay, that was easy to fit all of that on this. But maybe we'll say, oh gosh, I'm energized. I'm on a roll now. I have this compelling force that makes me want to write more. So I wanted to talk about this for those of you who maybe are going to be interested in this, and maybe for folks who haven't done it before, because those of you who have done it, you know what things are going to pop up that might cause you to procrastinate or interfere with your spiritual flow, or might make it more fun, or whatever the case may be. So I can put this away, and then I'm going to go, oh gosh, nothing here is big enough for me to write what I want to write now, because I've got all these ideas. So then what you might want to do is, I have dyed paper over here. So I might want to grab a piece of dyed paper. Gotta have some crinkle in a junk journal video. Some ASMR, whatever that is. I can never remember the acronym for that. So, hot dog. Now I've got a piece of paper. So, I was talking about what I'm thankful for, and then I might want to continue on. I might want to write a whole letter. So I might want to, date this as well. I'm thankful for the 5 things that I listed. Oh, I had a thought and I lost it from just writing that bit. As well as my YouTube channel. I'm going to call y'all peeps. I hope nobody takes that too personal, I don't know, takes any offense to that for whatever reason. Who knows? Somebody took offense to me. Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. I'm going to wait for it to pop up on my I use a live streaming application. There it is. That was so sweet, Lisa. So Lisa said, I'm new. I said a prayer for something to watch that I needed to see here, and here I am. Oh my goodness. That humbles me. So there I've got more stuff to write. So I'm thankful for as well as my YouTube channel peeps, especially right now. Theresa Church, and a new visitor by the name of yeah, but you know, Theresa, if you watch my channel often, which I'm pretty sure you do, is that I can often be chicken orientated with being in Arizona so often, where Lisa, we have free range chickens at the park that we stay at, and there is always roosters and hens, and very often at the right time of the year, little chicks running around peeping their heads off. And a new visitor by the name of Lisa. Both of which bless my heart. Yeah, so I feel like I put what I was thinking on this page right now. So then I can take this page and I can fold it up and put it in my journal, and I could add more to it today. So I'm going to put my tag right here. And I can put my piece of paper right here. And like I said, I can add to that, or I can use it for tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll want to use this journaling card, which is very small, so I don't see that happening. But this index card would work well. I could write on the back of that for tomorrow. Oh my goodness, Lisa has 11 cats. Okay, that was a good comment, Theresa. Theresa said that I'm thankful that God has given me a forgiving heart. And I think God has probably given all of us a forgiving heart, at least the power to forgive. But I was looking at a prompt in here, and let me think. Like, how can you grow closer to God in your daily life? Well, one of my answers might be that I don't want to say I teach myself to be more forgiving. I would say I want to discipline myself to be more forgiving. Some learned behavior throughout my life, either because of actions from other people, or I don't want to say, like, positions that I put myself in life, like hanging around the wrong people, or yeah, pretty much that. Let's just say hanging around the wrong people. And actually, you can learn bad behaviors from your family too. Like, say your mom smokes. You know, I'm not telling anybody that they're going to go to hell because they smoke, but we can all agree that it's not a good behavior for your health, for your temple. Now, I will tell you, every once in a while, I see somebody smoking and I think, oh my gosh, I just felt like having a cigarette. And thankfully, I'm able to resist that urge. There was a time in my life, like from 20 to maybe 35 or 40, I wasn't able to resist that urge. So every once in a while, I go out and buy a pack of cigarettes and I go off on a smoking binge. But I've always been able to stop. So that's been good. And so I just say all that. I just ramble through all that to say I'm not judgmental against anybody that smokes. But it's important too that while you don't have to be judgmental, but you can state the facts. You can state that sugar is bad for your health. Smoking's bad for your health. Alcohol's bad for your health, especially, okay, maybe I should say can be bad for your health, because there's some people who I've heard, I don't know for sure, that have lived to 100 years old and were smokers or drank like a fish, so you can't put everybody in a box, and only God knows how he really feels about it, to what degree, or if there's a degree, or whatever the case. Now, you can say, I don't want to hang with this person because they're a murderer, they go out and kill people, or they beat their kid, or they're pedophile, or even things that maybe don't make you cringe as much, that, abortion. Say they believe in abortion. Those aren't my peeps. They may be very nice people for other things and stuff, and pay their taxes, and go to work on time, and make lovely, beautiful junk journals, and have all kinds of redeeming qualities, but those aren't my peeps. And those aren't my people, because that's something I have a very strong conviction about. That's my conviction. If I'm on my channel, and for whatever reason, which right here somehow the conversation segued to that. The cats are my inheritance. My parents are still alive, but Dad decided he didn't want his cats, so he gave them to you, Lisa. Yeah, I'm not an animal, period. Animal person, period. So I do like to visit baby animals. That means not even at somebody else's house, because when you go to somebody else's house and they have pets, indoor pets, you don't know whether they're going to get offended if you don't love their dog or their cat or their parakeet or whatever in the world it might be. And so I've seen some different behaviors from people that have different ideas about indoor pets than I do. Now, we had a rabbit about 3 or 4 years ago. It was right before we went full-time RV, so naturally we had to get rid of the rabbit because rabbits don't travel well, as far as I know. So my husband found a lady whose daughter wanted the rabbit, and Leo has lived happily ever after with that little girl ever since, because when we go back to Idaho, sometimes my husband sees that lady, and she talks about how her daughter has the rabbit trained and all these other things. And I do like to go out in the country and see horses and things like that. Hawks are on my you-know-what list, because last spring, the beginning of spring, I looked out the window and it swooped down and grabbed a little chick in its mouth. It was very traumatizing. But it's called the circle of life, and I just have to get over it. But anyways, man, talk about going off on a tangent. I don't know where this stuff comes from. This is why I don't usually visit very much, because I'm not a big talker, but when I start talking, oh my gosh, it just goes off on a tangent. But I hope I gave you some good ideas for the good stuff that we were talking about here with writing in our journal and using devotional prompts. Again, I want to thank Beth for the idea. She just was talking and she said something about her puppet ministry, and I said, oh, I'd love to hear more about that. And then somehow she got to talking, and that led to her saying that she used to do devotions in her live stream, and my light bulb just flashed on from that. So you might have a journal. Well, that's just wrong, Lisa. Kick a person out of church because they were spotted smoking a cigarette. I don't care if you were spotted smoking a joint. I don't care if it was in a state where marijuana is illegal. If she saw you stabbing a child to death, then yeah, I wouldn't want you in my church either. But and if she thinks it's so awful, gosh, she could pray for you. There's a novel idea. But I mean, I'm overweight, so I'm almost 64 years old, and I am like 240 pounds, 6'3". I'm obese, according to the medical chart. You know, my husband doesn't look at me and say, oh, she's fat. No, he doesn't think that at all. But if I were to go to a doctor and you look at that nice little chart that they have on the wall, not all of them, but it will say from this weight to this weight, you're blah, 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 and this weight to this weight, you are obese. So medically measured, I am in the obese category. So, and what does God say about that? Does he say that I am, what's the word I want? I'm abusing my temper. I can tell you smoking will kill you. Yes, it will. Is it, but then there's all kinds of people who, you know, my aunt died from breast cancer and she ate perfect. But anyways, am I abusing the temple? Let's see, I said it better earlier, but our bodies are a temple, and am I abusing my temple? Yes. And it's probably not because I eat too much sugar, it's because I don't exercise enough and eat correctly. So they say, I don't know if it's true, but because I skip breakfast and lunch quite often, well, today I had a sandwich at 2 o'clock, and I got up to change the copy paper in my copier, walked back to my chair and stubbed my toe hard enough that it made me sick to my stomach. Didn't finish the second half of my sandwich. I was fine. It's not broke or anything, and I've got my shoe on and I don't even feel it now, but at the moment it hurt a lot. And so my point is I didn't finish the rest of my sandwich, so now I will have dinner. And so anyways, I'm sorry to hear that your husband has passed. I have a sweet husband too, so I can tell you that I'm always like, okay, just make sure that you know that we have a pact. I go first. You don't go first. And he just looks at me like, yeah, Theresa. And, yeah, Lisa, like, we're avid motorcyclists, and there's some people who think motorcycles are awful. But we don't. And, anyways, so it depends on your perspective, it depends on your circumstances, but the good news is that God is a forgiving God, and we can all come to Him for forgiveness. And the other good news is that believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and thou shalt be saved. And the thief on the cross knows that one pretty darn well. So you all take care. I hope this was helpful or inspiring or whatever. Anything but something negative. But if it was negative, maybe I hope if it was negative, it will something that's negative that prods you to maybe get you to pick up your Bible or to sit and think about God or whatever it might be. I hope that you'll join me again in my next video, and I hope that you'll all be safe and well, and we'll see you again sometime. Goodbye.